I've been working on my ornamental gingers this morning, and I think I'll take a break. I'd like to share some information with you. Hi, I'm Elise. I'm glad you stopped by. These are hidden gingers I'm working on right now. Hidden gingers is a really small ginger, really pretty. I'll put a photo up for you to see what it looks like. There's over 1,000 varieties of ginger. That's a lot. Why I'm making this video is I saw two posts recently on social media. One person was saying, well, they were digging up their gingers and they couldn't find a bulb. And they wanted to know what was wrong. Well, gingers don't grow on bulbs, they grow on rhizomes. Depending upon the variety of your ginger, the rhizome could be as small as your little finger or as big as your whole forearm. So if you're new to gingers or cannas, heliconias, plants like that, they grow on rhizomes. Now, a rhizome is an underground system, usually horizontal, right underneath the ground. And here is a small one where I was digging up some others and I didn't get it planted, but I will. This is a small rhizome from the hidden ginger. Actually, I can break this in two and get maybe 3 new plants from that one little bitty rhizome. Of course, if you leave it like this, your chances are more and a little faster that you'll get a good plant. So that's a small rhizome. The rhizome is underneath the soil. It grows horizontal. The rhizome supplies energy and nutrients, moisture to the plant. It has all the genetic material inside to reproduce a brand new plant, an exact clone. I like rhizomes a lot. Okay, the second post I saw was they were afraid their gingers were dead because they look like this. Yes, they do look like this. They aren't dead. Don't throw them away. Now, not all gingers go completely dormant. Not all gingers will have the foliage die back and go dormant in the cool weather. Some gingers stay green all year long. In my landscape here in Zone 9B, our shell ginger, both the green leaf and the variegated versions, do not die back. They do not go dormant. Now, if we're really, really cold, if we get an unexpected freeze that affects them, then they might die back some. So when you see this, don't worry about it. Your plant's not dead. And it doesn't matter if it's in a container or if it's in the ground. And they're all going to just completely fall off by themselves. Now, in our zone, we don't dig our rhizomes up. In cooler weather, you'll need to dig your rhizome up. If you dig your rhizomes up, you might want to do it in your fall when the weather first starts changing. Go ahead, cut your foliage off, use your foliage for chop and drop or put it in your compost pile. Go ahead and dig your rhizomes up. Lay your rhizomes out and let them dry very, very well. Now, some folks don't even wash them off, but they do need to be completely dry. The choice of storing the rhizomes is up to you. You can just wrap them in some newspaper, put them in a cardboard box. You can put them in mulch, straw, hay, anything like that, and put them in a box. Put them away somewhere where they won't freeze. What you want is a very dry medium, and you want it cool. Because cold weather and water can equal rot, and you don't want your rhizomes to rot. An easy way to tell if your rhizomes is rotted is they're going to be really soft and they'll start turning brown and then eventually black. When they get to that stage, they're no good. Now, if it's on a larger rhizome, you can try cutting the bad pieces off and saving your rhizome. Now, see, this is a really nice firm piece. It's fine. And I will plant this out. So let's dump a couple of these out and see what the rhizome looks like. Now at this time of the year, what I'm going to be doing, and this is something you don't have to do, but for us, since we don't really always dig them up, this year I thought I would go ahead and do a little maintenance before we got really, really cold. Which means if I have tore up pots, busted pots, I'm going to replace the pot. I can refresh my soil. I can make sure my labels are still good. If I need to make a new label or refresh my label, it's a good time to do it. I can check on the health of my soil, see if there's any little critters in it or anything. And I can check on the health of the rhizome. Again, you do not have to do that. I don't always do it. But this year I had a little extra time, so I thought I would spend some time. I definitely need a new pot there. Let's see what we have. Oh, nice rhizome. Wow. Look at that. Now for a hidden ginger, that is a really nice sized rhizome. Now I can break this apart and get multiple plants. Very easy. You can cut it or just take your finger and snap them apart. This was the original rhizome, the mother rhizome, and then she put out all these fingers on each side. Nice root system. Wow, that is so nice. All of it's firm, healthy looking. So again, I can cut this in half if I choose. I can break each little individual finger off if I choose. Now, since we're going into more of a winter time, I may just cut it in half, but that's all. I'm not going to break each individual finger out. The smaller your rhizome pieces, the more chances they might rot if your soil stays wet. So I can just absolutely leave it like that. What I'm really surprised about, and I have been doing quite a few of these this morning, all different varieties, not a lot of worm activity. I usually have a lots of worm activity. Two main things you always want to remember when you're planting rhizomes, no matter what the plant is. If you're putting them in containers or in the ground, first, you do not want to bury your rhizome really deep. If you bury it deep and then it gets rained on, you water it, which makes it go down even farther, compacts the soil, then that rhizome has to really fight to come up in the springtime. Now there is an exception. If you're leaving them in the ground or in the pot in cooler weather, then you might want them a little deeper. But if you're planting these out in spring, you don't want your rhizomes really deep. Neat, huh? And on rhizomes like this, that have roots on both sides and you aren't really sure how to plant them, you just do your best. They're going to orientate. Most rhizomes are geotropic, which means they will eventually send their stem up and their root down. All right, so I'm just going to snug that in, add some more soil. This soil still looks good, very well draining. There's no little critters in it. This pot, what I might do is save it and make a smaller planting in it. I want to make sure I put my label in. Make sure you put your label back. Because this is all you're going to have all winter. Even here in 9B, this is all I'm going to have all winter. It's a bare pot. So unless you have a really good memory, or you're only planting one or two varieties, always put your label in. Because I forget what's in my pots. All right. This is, for right now, going to go into a place that will get a little protection if we do get some cold weather. I'm not putting it in my hothouse or anything like that. If it gets too warm, it's going to go ahead and start sprouting. They need a little dormant time. They need a little time to rest. So that one's done. Let's see what this one looks like. It's always fun to look at them anyway. I'm always interested in what goes on underneath the soil. Wow, really impressed. Some old rhizome action going there. But look at the size of that rhizome. For a hidden ginger, this is really large. Usually they're like that. So they've really been happy this past year. And some of them are breaking off, but that's okay. I will just go ahead and plant that too. There's another little piece. Now this piece is no good. See, it's soft, it's dark brown black, it's rotted, and we don't want that in our pot. This is a nice little piece that broke off. It's still nice and firm. That will give me another plant. Nice. Let's see what this one is, because I've got to go and get some another pot, because I just noticed that this one is split bad. Well, I'm glad this wasn't the first one I opened up to show you. But look how small and dainty that rhizome is, but it's still good. It's still firm. I can still plant it, and I'll get a plant in the spring. Nice. See if any broke off in the soil. Okay. Okay, I think I started telling you the two things you really want to remember when you plant your rhizomes. The first is not to plant it too deep. The second is don't overwater it. Don't leave your soil soggy. You want very well draining soil. Again, cold and wet equals rot for plants. So I'm going to go and get a nice new pot for this. This one I'm not going to cut up yet. Maybe I might. I'll have to think about it, because it is quite large. And I'm using trade gallon size pots. But if I didn't want to plant this out, if I just wanted to store it over the winter, I would just lay it out and let it get really, really dry. And for me personally, I don't even bother washing them off, because when it gets really dry, all that soil is just going to fall off anyway. I wrap mine in newspaper. That's what I would do if I were storing it. I would wrap it loosely in newspaper, put it in a cardboard box, and put it in a location that would stay dry and cool. Again, it's up to you what medium that you want to use to store your rhizomes in. Nice. I'm so surprised at how large those two rhizomes were for this little hidden ginger. So I'll get this planted. And that's it. Just a fast recap. Gingers, ornamental gingers, and the ginger we eat grows on rhizomes, not bulbs. Many, many gingers will die back when your weather starts cooling off, when your days get shorter. So when you get all this brown material, don't worry about it. Don't think your plant's dead. Don't throw your plant away. It's not. You can just leave it as is, either in the ground or in the container, unless you live in a really cold area that your ground will freeze. And then you'll want to pick it up. Don't bury it too deep. Don't overwater it. That's how easy it is, folks. Rhizomes are my favorite favorite growth way, you know. We have bulbs, we have rhizomes, we have root systems basically on our plants in the landscape. Rhizomes are my favorite because they are so hardy and they are really, really forgiving. All right, I've got a few more hidden gingers to do, and then I'll start on some of the other varieties. Till we speak again, have a fantastic day.